There was always at least one no-show, so.
I mean, in Miami, there's always more than one no-show.
Hella. And sometimes that no-show is us. I am part of the problem. I'm constantly
100%.
like humbling myself of being like, when I complain about my city, I have to remember I am a firm resident of the city of Miami.
Yeah, it's just, we're not bad people. We just we believe in our energy and abilities much more than what we are. It's not that we don't mean to go. It's that we have the best of intentions and then just got tired.
It's true.
We're busy. Yeah.
You're listening to Miami Film Lab's Crew Call 305.
Crew Call 305. Making a living as a filmmaker.
Anyway, hi.
Hi. Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. So
Thanks for having me.
let's start with just who you are and what you do.
Cool. My name is Krystal. I'm an actor and a musician, and I work in film and in voiceover. Hello. And also primarily in theater for the majority of my career, but it's been really nice to be more involved in film the past couple of years. Yeah.
How'd you choose between music and film, or acting, I should say?
Choosing between music and acting.
Yeah.
So that was, I started in music when I was little. And I used to play the violin. Like, you have a 3-year-old right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I started when I was 4. So, like, a year from now,
I can't
the little
imagine
kid
that.
could start with his, like, do-re-mi's. You think you can't imagine it, but it's possible.
They change pretty fast. So maybe, but right now, he's not listening to anyone.
That's fair. An independent soul. I was like, please give me instruction and purpose. Like, help me navigate. So I started in music and I played the violin all the way through middle school till high school. And then I stopped because I fell in love with acting, to be honest, and was like, oh, you can love more than one thing. That's super weird. So I think primarily, initially I started just focusing on acting. And it felt like part of me was kind of missing. And then during quarantine reflections, I was like, oh, I know what's missing. I still write songs or whatever, but I don't actively perform for anyone or do anything like that. I've been trying hard to be a multi-hyphenate and let that be allowed. I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's like, which one do you choose? I'm like, I don't know. I think both. Yeah.
How did you make the transition from just acting in school to making this your profession?
Oh, wow. Well, I did everything that they told me, technically. So I went to all the auditions and tried it out. But it took like a couple of years for our community to like really consider me, if that makes any sense. So it was just a ton of rejections. But that's great because I still did get some opportunities in there. And I started finding people that I really enjoy working for and started building community. So coming out of college, it was like first feeling like I'm accepted and I accept them and we want to create together. And then eventually it spiraled to a level that I was able to do it full time. So I was working at a restaurant job. And I was a really bad server. Like, I was super quirky and everybody loved me, but I had good tips. But gosh, did I spill food on people. One really wealthy man, I worked at Periconi's and I worked at P.F. Chang, shout out, to like 10 years ago, Krystal. But yeah, I even spilled like water down someone's back, sin querer, because I was just like passing through chairs that were too near each other. So I wasn't great at it. And I knew it just like was a means to an end. And then I think I had like one really frustrating work shift and we were supposed to get out at like midnight. We got out at like 2 because people stayed around. And that specific night, I was like, I can't live like this anymore. It's not bringing me any joy. It's okay for people to have different jobs. But personally, if I have to live a broker life, I'll do it. But I want to just do what I love. So I went looking for work, and it really is like what you put your energy into. Because the second that I had that huge breakdown in the parking lot at Periconi's, everything kind of was like a click moment and kind of changed. And I'm proud of myself for being able to say that I make all of my income doing what I love. Sometimes that's singing to children at the Children's Museum, and sometimes that's a contract at a theater I love, and sometimes I'm in film and getting to meet new people and go to like my first love. Because you talked about when you were little, you should talk about that. That was really cute. About how when you were little, you would like watch all this TV, right? And then that's how you learned English, essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, I was born. I was made in Cuba. I was born here. So no one in my family spoke any English whatsoever. I think the oldest person in my family had been here for like 5 years or something. So in our house to this day, we still only speak Spanish.
Same.
And so, yeah, the way my mom, my sister, and I learned English was watching Sesame Street and Disney movies.
So cute.
So I was named after a movie character. I was named after Jennifer in the Love Story. And so, yeah, I always say I was kind of destined to do this for a living.
I was named after a telenovela called Krystal. So, la telenovela Krystal. Look it
Have
up.
you been in a telenovela yet?
No, never.
You haven't reached that destiny yet?
I haven't gone full circle yet. It's like, I'll book the novella and just like drop dead. Be like, she fulfilled her life, destiny, and journey. She did it, y'all. Claps. But I had a similar thing where like the whole acting thing that I was connected to was movies. I've just been like a little cinephile since I could understand English.
Yeah.
To a certain level. I was like, okay, put that VHS on. Nice. Put it again. And I would start learning all the lines of like Cinderella, Anastasia was my bop. That was my jam. I just sing all the little songs and I loved it, you know? So anyway, that's how I landed into acting or whatever, but...
Did you purposely, because you started in theater, and that's kind of been the bulk of your work. Did you do it on purpose, or is that just what the work was here?
That's what the work was here. And not only that, though, that was the only access, not tiny violin comes out, but like that was the only access I had to doing what I wanted to do. So I wanted to like go to theater camps. And I remember one summer I asked my family, like, can I go to one of those go-away camps, like the Parent Trap, like, please? And they're like, sweetie, we don't have money for anything like that. That's not going to happen.
Also, Hispanics don't send their children
and
away.
And they're not going to let me sleep somewhere that they don't know exactly. Like, no. It's like if it was a single mom, I could sleep over. But if there was a man in the house, I was not allowed to sleep over. And because my mom was a single mom, and everybody could sleep over at my house. So I had a bunch of friends that would have like huge slumber parties. And I loved it. But, whoa, I derailed, baby.
We love it. That's the whole point.
Derail. God, what was I even talking about, dude? I got hella into it. Theater. Yeah, not accessible at all. And I do think that even historically in Western theater, it comes from a place of privilege. Always. Meaning I never grew up seeing theater. I grew up watching a ton of movies. I grew up in Hialeah, and there was a Blockbuster a block away. Blockbuster. But it was great, and we'd walk over, and every Friday, it was like I could do one rental. That was it. We'd pick a family movie, and that's it. I'd watch it like 1,000,000 times for the 3 days and turn it in. There was no access like that for theater. So eventually, my dad left, and when he left, my family was like, all right, let's figure out if we can get her to one of those camps she keeps talking about, but she's not going away, right?
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I think even now, whenever I decide to have a child, like, I'm not going to let them sleep over everywhere. I'm going to be like,
I just can't bring myself to do it. Nope.
No, dude, the world is like hella ugly, and you have to take care of your own. So
100%, yeah.
It comes from a place of love. Like, it really does. And, you know, but yeah, they took me to a film camp. So I did a film camp in Pembroke Pines, and it was like a day camp. So I had 2 weeks, and I met my best friend there. She's a dancer, and she's a teacher. She's not an actor. We wrote a script. We made a film. It was very cute. We were like 10 or 11.
Aww.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, I'm going to be an actor. Screw orchestra. And my family's like, no, this was just like a one-time 2-week thing. Like, this is not happening again. I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. So then, yeah. So I kind of like put it on stop. And then when I went to high school, there was theater. And I was like, I guess I'll go there. And I was really shy. So my first acting thing was a pantomime. Because I didn't have to talk.
I feel like that's harder though, because you have to like really give yourself to a pantomime. Lines, you could just like throw them out there.
Yeah. And I'll always remember the day that like stage lights were on me for the first time. I loved it because I was like, oh, I can't see anyone anymore.
Nice.
Perfect. And then I started like losing my fear. I was like, I think I'm ready to do words now. And my drama teacher's like, you better, because like your grade, you know, because you're in school. So yeah, I just got into theater because it's what was accessible in Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So that's it. It's how it started. And I loved the like personal connection to people. That was unexpected. Like crying with someone or like seeing like visceral reactions of people not, you know, when you make a movie, you're not ever able, you could stare, I guess, at the audience, but you don't get to like look them in the face head on and see them react immediately. So that was cool. But yeah, my real love is film. So eventually little shy Krystal was like, I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I'm doing it. And I went for it.
So how did you make that transition? Like, how did you go being known in the theater world to start trying to find those film roles?
Man, self-submitting. Self-submitting is the key, I think, in this community. And of course, like my agents are awesome, but what's around that's nice and pays well is usually commercials. And if I just wait around for like a film thing to come, will never come, because I remember that's how it was for years. I was like, and I have an agent and I will be in movies. And I waited and waited for like 3, 4, 5 years and was like, damn, dude, what? And then eventually I just started just applying myself. So Actors Access and Backstage and stuff like that. And just making sure my stuff was like ready to go. So my resume, my headshot or whatever, and I'd send it immediately whenever they needed it. So that's kind of where it first started. But I still was shy. I had a college professor tell me that I didn't have the look for film, which was really cruel, but it was also a different time. So I didn't want to do it. I was like scared to. Like every part of me wanted to. I want to correct that. Every part of me wanted to, but I just like didn't have the balls. It's kind of like the pantomime thing that I was like, oh, damn, it'd be great if I said words now. So yeah, eventually COVID hit. And I was like, what do I have to lose? There's no theater. Nobody's judging anybody on anything. Like, I made friends that are far more successful than me online and friends that are just starting out that I was able to guide. And weirdly, although we were really separate, I don't know. It felt like it was a really good sense of community. I weirdly miss it. I do.
Yeah, when you don't have any other options, it drives you to do the thing. Yeah.
Literally. It drives you to do the thing.
Miami Film Lab is a pandemic baby.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pandemic babies. Like me coming into my own as like a musician. I upped therapy like crazy because COVID. But that was also great because my therapist, shout out to Berthina, was like, hey, you're allowed to be more than one thing, right? So that's where I started releasing my music. And that's when I was like, just because one person told me I didn't have the look for film doesn't mean I should stop myself for the rest of my life. Like, it was like mid-20s and it was like, I have to do this. I have to do it now. So I very, very shyly at my home, in the comfort of my own home, would like do self-tapes for like, sometimes they take me like 5 hours for like a 2-minute thing. Just because I was like, was that? Oh God. Was that? Oh God. I figured it out, man. And it's been really nice to see that I did face my fear, but it was like, I'm here today. Like, I felt like I was embraced in the film community with open arms. And I was so scared to try something new. You know, I've lived in Hialeah my whole life, and theater was like, it's so hard to like make it your living, especially here, that it was like, man, if I got a BFA in theater acting and I committed like 6-7 years to that, am I going to have to go to film school now too? Like, what's the deal? Like, have to go to film school, have to commit another 7 years to then maybe get an opportunity. But that wasn't the case. theater actually informs my film acting so much. And I think the professionalism of theater actors on set, when I see them, I'm like, hell yeah, you're one of us. I see it. I see it, like just patiently waiting and really in the zone. And respecting the art is just so beautiful. So, yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Unique Producer Service is South Florida's premier grip and lighting house. In business over 50 years, they have the experience to help you along the way, whether this is your first rental or your 100th. If you need to come test out lights before you shoot, need equipment delivered, or you need a full crew, Unique has got you covered. You can visit their website at uniqueproducers.com or call them at 305-681-7627. Nestled between Miami and the Florida Keys lies an enchanted and tranquil estate. Palm Lodge House and Tropical Garden is a historic 2-acre property from 1912. Its old Florida-inspired decor is intended to transport you back over 100 years with old-world charm everywhere you look. The spacious 2-story, 3-bedroom house features an expansive porch, a high-ceiling foyer, a grand piano, and an outdoor living room, and is surrounded by lush tropical gardens with seashell walkways throughout. And it is the perfect place for your next shoot or event.
What are the other things that you think sets theater actors in film apart?
Not to separate them, though, because I also think I learned so much from the film people I've worked with. And I'm like, man, they're just like drop of a hat. They'll drop into a moment. And I'm like, nope, I'm anxious and I need a vibe for a second and then we'll go for it, right? But I think what sets us apart is like the regimen of a rehearsal process is 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 4 weeks is the standard in just like US theater, unless it's Broadway. So for regional theater, that's what you do. And that's just to get the opportunity to do your work, right? Like that's just for that chance to essentially like roll, right? So it's nice because it's like there's so much prep before I go in that I can adjust a performance and have a lot of fun and feel free because I'll treat it like a play. I'll be like, all right, got to learn all my things beforehand hard so that I have no doubts. And then there could be a freedom in that. Yeah, I think it's just a discipline of theater and the improvisational skills that you have to learn too, because you're with a live audience. Like, there's been all kinds of like talkbacks from an audience member like, ooh, what?
Who talks back at the theater?
They
That's
do.
crazy.
And when it happens, you're like, oh, but I've gotten better at it. But now I'm like, oh, I'll play off of this. This is fun. It like really makes it so enjoyable. Like one play that I did, it was super dramatic. It was a glass menagerie, and it's like my whole life has just been shattered. My future's been shattered. Physically, of course, the glass menagerie, things have shattered. And I'm sobbing in front of this audience. It's our final performance. And my brother always lies about where he's going. He's going to leave the family. And he says he's going to the movies, but he's always just like out, right? And I'm sobbing with the candles in my face. And my mom in the play says, where are you going? Where do you think you're going? Like so angry. And there's a pause before he says, I'm going to the movies. So he says, where do you think you're going? And this audience member says, he's going to the movies. Like so like annoyed, like, bitch, why would you ask? Sorry. But like, woman, why would you ask that question? Have you not been in this play? And the actor closing performance had to do everything he could to keep it together and be like, I'm going to the movies. Like in his most dramatic theatrical acting. And I'm like, while sobbing, shaking around, trying not to laugh. It's like the talkbacks have been great. The talkbacks have been really, really great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people will shout like, kiss her. It's like a brothel. Sometimes theater, I'm like, damn, dude, okay. No one on set's ever going to do that. Ever. So like, whatever, we have to roll again because something was slightly off. It's like, oh, okay, sure. Somebody kind of finessed a line. I'll finesse it back and reel us in. I think that's a skill set, is like saving people on stage, helps you save your scene partner, man, because you can call cut, but there's no way out of it in a 3-hour Neil Simon play or something. Like, you're just stuck in it, you know? So yeah, it's been really empowering to change my mindset and be like, instead of thinking, oh, because I trained for mainly theater, I don't belong in that space. It's changed to, because I trained in mainly theater and have all these years of experience, I have so much to provide for that space.
Absolutely.
Big mindset change, but it was honestly too much time thinking in quarantine and therapy. And I invest in myself all the time, you know, like it's important for me to go to therapy twice a month because it's what I can afford, you know, I can do weekly, you know, but we're out here, you know, it's good. Invest in my physical and mental health, and then it makes me calmer when I have to go into anything, an audition environment, first day on set's like super scary. And sometimes they're really far between. So you're like, oh no, am I still an artist if I haven't been in a film? Like right now, I haven't shot anything since like, I think June.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Of last year. I'm like, ooh, when am I going to get to do that again? But it'll come. There's something like possibly in July. I'm like, okay, weird year back, but I know that first day back, I'm going to have to be so kind to myself. Yeah. Do you have like first day of school feeling rituals for yourself?
Not rituals, but
like
you definitely have to
that
like,
day, you know?
Yeah, you definitely have to like prepare yourself and like, I guess it's like,
get in the headspace. I'm like, okay.
Headspace to like when I work production, like I have my production kits and like, it's like packing your bag for the first day of school. And then you gotta like, I have all of my little trinkets and all my things that I need and like the stuff to set up you know, my stuff. So yeah, there's definitely that like nervousness, even though like on production, especially in, you know, towns like Miami, you tend to work with the same 20, 30, 100 people. So it's not like it's a brand new office, like you know all these people, but it still feels like it's a whole
new
thing.
Project. So
it's everything changes. Like you can work with I've worked with the same production managers, same location managers, same everything. The minute you step into a new office with a new script, it's a different energy, and you have to really get comfortable again, even if you've known these people for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's a whole, which is what I love about film. It's one of the reasons why this is the career I chose. Because like, I don't want every day to feel the same. I want to know that I can get out of this crazy world when the production is on fire and I don't want to be here anymore. And I love to think that like there's a chance that the next one will be better and more fun and more exciting. And like that's part of the joy of this.
Yeah. It's fluid.
Yeah.
It's fluid. And no matter how much you plan a shoot day, something's always going to surprise you, but in a positive way. Like, not just negatively. It's just no matter how much you plan a scene, somebody will give you something new and you're like, oh, that's exciting to play with. Or you know, a costume designer will make your day and you're like, are you kidding me? Thank you for telling me I'm beautiful. Suck on that, college professor, you know? Like, it's just... It's a really, really cool environment.
But I also find that the more prepared you are, the more you can enjoy those moments.
Absolutely.
Like if you're still stressing about your lines or still stressing about getting how you're going to get that scene done, you aren't open to those moments that really like brighten your day or like give you the headspace to be like, oh, that sparks that idea. Like you really have to, the more prepared you are, the more those happy accidents. I like work with so many people that like, we'll figure it out on set. Like, I'm like, no, you don't have the time and energy to have the really good happy accidents unless you got everything figured out. If you're figuring it out, like your brain is not going to give you that opportunity. And it's a hard thing to convince people of, that the more prepared you are, the better you can handle all the good accidents that happen.
Right? It's so true. It's so true. That's why, though, the prep is important of whatever it may be, no matter what your job is in film or in theater, if like theater people are listening to this too, but the prep will set you up for success. You have to also be open to newness, but show up with your lines learned, please. And if you're fumbling on something, work it with the actor to see why, because it's probably that you're not connecting a thought. It's usually why I trip up on a specific spot over and over. It's because I'm still not finding the logic, like the thought process to switch, right? Walking into sets that are really prepared, you can feel it the second you walk in. And everybody's in a good mood, having a coffee, saying, okay, here, go this way. And then there's like panic attack moments. And I'm like, oh no, guys, no, not now. We just started the day. We have like 12 hours left. It's been 10 minutes. So it can be pretty wild. So yeah, I agree with you.
Do you find that most of the sets you walk into are well prepared, or
Yes.
everyone's scrambling?
No, I would say that most have been really well prepared. And the ones that haven't been, it's with grace because they're learning. So when I was doing student films to build up my reel, yeah, people were panicking, but it's because they really care. So I also understood where it was coming from. And it was kind of nice to be like, well, I'll be the well-seasoned one here. Until you calm down, it's okay, because that's what I need all the time. So it feels really good to also let somebody know it's going to be okay. You've got this. Trust in yourself. Things that I say to myself. I've said to students that are like working on their MDC or like thesis film. I did a SCAD one too, and it was like they were so stressed. Guys, it's okay. It's good. But that was a well-oiled, they're still well-oiled machines. It's just the fear.
Did you feel like you needed to do a lot of those kind of super low budget or student films to build up your reel to get other film parts? Or was it more to like make yourself comfortable with film?
Oh, both. It was absolutely both. Because I think I needed to prove to myself that I could comfortably do this. But within that, the universe, I don't know how to explain this without sounding like too confident or something.
Do it.
It just feels really nice to be accepted with open arms in something I've always wanted to do. It's deeply fulfilling, and I regret not having let myself do it earlier. So yeah, like it was for my own self, and also the pleasant surprise was the footage was good enough to use in a reel and get more work. So both. I encourage everybody that's like, I want to make a transition into film, start doing the student films and commit fully to them like it's your Oscar-winning performance. Like, I'm laughing and joking, but it's like, seriously, go in there and give it your best shot, because everybody there, they'll see that and they'll give it their best shot. Everyone is just trying to make it happen. So it's exciting work. You get to meet new friends. Like, there are people that I've worked with. I did the student film with Andres Monsalve. I don't know how to say his last name, but I think it's Monsalve. So, but Andres gave me a shot and let me be his girl next door person, right? Like the manic pixie dream girl thing. And in this really fun short film called The Editor. And
oh, I love that film.
It was so fun.
Such a great
film. I
film.
just had a great time, and it was coming out of quarantine. And I'd just gotten vaccinated. I was so nervous. Everybody was masked up. Everybody was so professional. And the people that I worked with on that, which was now 3 years ago, really, I've seen them in other sets. And it's been such a delight to be like, we're both working professionally right now. Look at us. It feels awesome because it also feels like home when I know at least one person there. Because I have built community, and I think that there's genuine strength in that. And people poo-poo on Miami a lot of there's no film, there's no real theater, there's no art, it's all clubs. And sure, to an extent, and maybe culturally we can improve on that. Definitely we can. But again, it's a privilege thing and an accessibility thing. So if we're a hospitality and tourism place,
Yeah, but also I think we don't take ourselves seriously enough. In that, like,
we don't. And
we like, we're just Miami. We're doing what we do. We're not, these other people are this professional. And I think it's garbage.
I think that it's diminishing.
Absolutely.
I think it's self-diminishing.
Yeah. And I think we play into that rhetoric too much. And I most of my career has been doing projects that are out of New York and LA, but shot here. And I'm sorry, they're not more talented than us. They're slightly more experienced because there's been more work. But I'll put my crew up against any of those other crews.
That's how
any
I feel.
day.
It's literally how I feel. It's the times that I've gotten to fly out versus getting to work here. And it's been ironic because at one point I was getting more work out of Miami than here. It's like, why won't my own community just like give me a shot? What is going on? Just give me a shot, But it's like so much self-doubt can come through, right? But taking up space individually and as a community is necessary. I think it's enough time of like dilly-dallying and saying, oh, okay, yeah, well, I live in this hospitality and tourism city, so of course it's going to be clubs. It's true, yes. But also, the hardest working artists that I know are here because it's like in New York, they say if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, the little Frank Sinatra song. No, dude, if you can make your living as an artist in the 305, then you should be able to work anywhere else because it's extra hard to get the opportunity. It's extra hard to make it work because the funding is not as vibrant as it is in these other cities that are also major cities. It's not to say that we live in like a small town. Miami has so much potential. I've even seen, like, I am a founder of a theater company with my friend Tim, and he's been doing an amazing job as the artistic director with my friend Elizabeth. And they, just looking at our quality of work from the first year, like 8 years ago, to now, because we felt like we could finally take up space. That was honestly the big difference. It's like, okay, so yes, the more experience of the people outside, but there's a lot of outside hires sometimes. And when I get to act with them, I'm like, oh, like I used to be scared to work with like a New York actor or something because I diminish myself. But no, we are the same quality. Sometimes it's like validating and exciting to work with those people because it's like, no, we are sharing a scene together and feeding off of each other and having an amazing time, and you don't know the difference. So I'm proud of our city and I want us to create more. I want to continue creating here. I chose to stay.
Why did you choose to stay? Especially given that you said a lot of your work has taken you elsewhere. What made you call this base home and, stay here? I
believe in it and I'd like to elevate it and I want to be elevated by it. I'm interested in what people around me are doing. I was born here and could have gone other places, but I love my home base being really connected to my personal culture with my whole family being Cuban, all of them, every single one of them, extending upon generations and generations and generations. My dad spits that he's Taino. But seriously, it's like, it's profound. Like it's can't believe I'm about to say it. It's profound to go to Vicky Bakery and say hi to Yenny and be like, girl, where'd you get your nails done? And she hooked it up. And it's like, there's a sense of community if you just let it happen, right? So I don't want to leave because even now it's scary to be like, all right, I really would like to be in more film here in Miami. I think it'd be great. Every time I audition out, not every crazy thing to say, but I've had a lot of nice opportunities auditioning out of Miami in film. Mm-hmm. I want some work here. And Chris Molina let me be in his feature film that's going to be coming out this year. And I'm really, really excited to see what comes of that and I got to be an amigo last year too. And getting to know more artists that are here and realizing we all could create something together if we wanted to, I have this amazing friend, Corinna, and she just bought a Super 8 camera And she's an artist. And she said, all right, well, for your music, maybe we can do a music video. Why not? Let's figure it out. Literally the why not mentality and finishing what you're starting. And we all have to have that mentality. It's like individually you can do it, but then I get bogged down when I'm around a bunch of people that are not in the same vibration, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I think there is a community of filmmakers that are like, I'm going to make it here, whatever it takes.
Correct.
And it's really changed the dynamic. And it's a really exciting time to be working in here because there are people who we still don't have the access to money and funds the way that we wish that we did. Hopefully, the more we work, the more that will change.
Yes.
Because I definitely think for better or worse, the work has to come first and we have to show that we're making good stuff and then the money will follow. But I think we're hopefully on the cusp of that. The last couple of years have really been some really amazing films and you've been a part of a lot of them, which is exciting.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's true though. It is exciting. And I am pretty positive I made the right decision to continue living here. Same. And be like, when I get to do a project that's out of here, we're like, you're from Miami? Yeah, I'm literally from Miami, born and raised and still living there and creating work here, wherever you've shipped me off to. And also when I come back home, I will keep fighting tooth and nail to get to create here. I love it. I love the people and I love the art we make. I just wish, like you said, the funding was around to pop up and be like, all right, well, here's this grant. Like, no, it doesn't come as easily.
Or investors. We like investors.
We like investors. Yeah. We really like investors.
Call us. Or donors. Just hand us over
give
some funny.
Make
this happen. Yeah.
Donate today.
Well, that's a great place to end. Support all the wonderful work here. Let us know, what do you have coming up next?
Well, up next, I am in a show called I Am Me that is to empower BIPOC youth, BIPOC high schoolers in Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and it's produced by the Arts Center. It's my third year doing it, and I helped be part of the devising team of it. And it's super meaningful, and it's written by 5 slam poets and directed by Teo Castellanos. So it's incredible and fulfilling. So we start that on Monday is our first show. And then I go off to be an ingenue at Maltz Jupiter Theater, which I'm so excited for. This great theater company. It's my second time working there for a Neil Simon play. They're like very funny definition of situation comedies that all of our favorite sitcoms mooched off of. It's like, if you like any sitcom, watch a Neil Simon play and you're going to be like, that's the origin of it all, which Absolutely. Is really exciting. Yeah. And then I have 2 feature films that are, I'm going to knock on this wood and ruin your audio, but 2 feature films that will hopefully come to fruition later this year. Both minor roles, but I'm going to keep pushing because I don't have concrete work past April, I think. So I'm just going to go for it. I don't know, girl. Call your friends.
Call her. Everyone's casting. Let us know. So anyone looking to cast or looking to see you, where can they find you online?
They can find me on Instagram. I'm always posting there at Krystal Millie, Krystal. And also, my IMDb and my website, krystalmillievaldes.com, is cool. So you can find me there, shoot me an email. Really, really passionate about creating here specifically. So that's my goal for this year, is like immersing myself in our community as much as I can. And this is such a great way to start my New Year's resolution.
I love it.
Thank you.
This is our first New Year's resolution. It's exciting.
Check.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
This episode is a production of Miami Film Lab, a nonprofit production company supporting local filmmakers as they work to make a living telling Miami stories. It was produced by Joe Turman and myself, Jen Orta Castellanos, and was recorded at Unicorn Fire Studios. Jed Royer at Royer Design made our logos. Our music is by Ola Hai. You can subscribe to Crew Call 305 on your preferred podcast platform. And if you like what you heard, leave a comment or review. And if you want to support our work, you can make a tax-deductible donation at miamifilmlab.org. Thanks so much for listening.